All right.
Too.
Yes. So we're
So,
live. How you doing? No, if anyone's watching, I know with this is yet
no one's
another
watching. It's been 10 seconds, bro.
yet another unscheduled, unannounced.
Again, a stream of static. Welcome
Yeah,
to the stream of
exactly.
static.
Just a random go live and talk to each other for no reason.
Look, it even says that we're on air right there.
Right. There you go. I wish it gets flipped around. I always point. See, when I point like that, I'm pointing at the on air. Right now, I'm pointing at the on air thing.
Yeah,
But
you're.
when I watch these things back, I'm like pointing over there, and the on air thing's over there. I don't know
Oh,
why.
wow, that's weird. Whatever.
Yeah,
You
it's always weird.
flipping a bitch and flipping it on us.
Right. Like, see, I'm looking at you right now, but if I look back at the video, it'll look like I'm looking over there or something. You know, I think, or I could be wrong. It's very likely that I'm wrong.
Yes.
So anyway, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good, man. I haven't talked to you for a while.
That's just a lie. That's an absolute lie. We were talking for about 45 minutes before we went live.
Yeah, we talk all the time.
Yeah.
It's funny because one of the people that we've had on the show was surprised how much communication we have all the time, even though like we have never met in real life, even though this is basically the same as real life. I mean, I'm talking to you and looking at your face.
Yeah, it's 2022, man.
Like,
nobody meets in real life.
I don't like being touched anyways. So like, no, I'm just like one of those people that's just like, yeah, your hands stay where your hands
go. No, I'm with you, right? Absolutely.
Put them in your pocket. Forget them in your pocket.
Yeah, keep it to yourself there, Feely McGee.
I would be like talking to you from this distance anyways. If you were here, we'd be. I mean, I don't mind people close to me, but it's like I don't need a hug. I don't need a hand on my back. So, but what I was mentioning was he said because of him and his business partner having like a little bit of like disagreements and stuff, and they've known each other for years. Right. It's kind of weird that me and Bob kind of work well together and stuff, and like it works. When you find work well with you, it work well.
Yeah, well, I think that the bottom line is that in the end, we just want to do the same thing, which is make cool music. And we both, even though we make different kinds of music, we both have the very similar opinions on what is cool music, you know? Yes. And that's cool. And that's awesome.
And we've been kind of talking about this for the past week where we've been wanting to so it all started when I was like thinking about like the value we could bring to people, right? Mm-hmm. You are a chef. You bring value with
when you say we, you mean basically artists. As an artist, a value you can bring to people.
It started with me and you, but more as an artist type of thing, right? So like because I was thinking like I want to be of value to people because like chefs, they give value because at least they give sustenance, even if the food is shit, like you still are staying alive. Like everything from the bottom to the top of things before it becomes art is a value, right? Of a kind of a, if you're an architect, it's value because you give people places to live or stay out of the sun or drive over water. And so me and Bob have been talking about as artists, how do we give value? Which the value is kind of, in our opinion, like we are giving entertainment and we're giving emotion.
Yeah, right? And again, a connection, that's sort of, I always just think of it as how I feel about music and how I did, especially when I was younger, right? I mean, like, music, the music that I listened to growing up, it was, it was as close to me as my closest friend. It was, and my closest friends were musicians that I made music with, and they still are. You know what I mean? Like, I just had a gig last night with my best friend in the world who I've known since I was 5, right? So music has been the whole thing all the time. Right. And, and so the question about what value does music hold to people, I think that's obvious, right?
It's more art, not just music.
Right. But anyway, but the value that art holds to people. But I think what we're really talking about when we're talking about, different sort of creative projects and things and what we could do to kind of affect that at that end, right? We're also talking about what can you do as an artist to affect a specific group of people or a wide spectrum of people, you know what I mean? Whereas where definitely in my case, where I make very abstract sort of music that is really completely just what it sounds like in my head. And sometimes it's crazy, right? So, and that adds value. Somebody has value. That's some value to somebody. Somebody likes my music because they listen to it and they tell some people tell me they like it, right? But it's a pretty small group of people because it's not, mainstream stuff. But what if
But
it was more targeted, right?
point being is we would love you to leave in the comments if you're not watching this on the live stream, still leave it in the comments. Like, what value do you find from your favorite artists of any sort? And what value might you want to see from our music if
There you
you're a fan of our music?
Right.
So we kind of, because I don't have very much communication with my fans because I'm mainly like Spotify, like
Right.
where I've grown, and I haven't played out any shows since I've made my following. And so it's like I don't get a lot of communication of like what value I bring to people, which I hope I do, you
Mhm.
know. So yeah, we've been really searching our souls per se of like where can we bring value, to society as a whole. Like I mean, I haven't thought of it this way until just now, but like when we're dead and gone, what value did we make an impact on people? Because I can name thousands of songs that have had impacts on my life, even like negative songs that are negative, but have made a positive impact on me because I felt less alone in times of being upset about this or that or another thing. So, yes.
I agree. Right on, man. Right on. So it'll be a fun experiment and it'll be fun to hear what anybody has to say about this concept, because I mean, it's a thin line. It's a fine line, right? Between between sort of intentionally carving your message, right? and just or just patronizing or selling out to so what is the difference? And I think that's a valid question. I think that people are often way too harsh about their criticisms of other artists and whether they're selling out or not. You don't know you don't know their journey,
Yes,
So
what I always think, you don't know if they're selling out or if they're really just doing really what they want to do.
right, that's what I meant, right? Exactly. You don't know you don't know what's driving them to make music, and you don't know where they came from or what it means to them. So you can't make
Right.
assumptions like that.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I think that for instance, a good example would be maybe Machine Gun Kelly, who does like pop punk shit now. But you watch like videos of him as a kid with his friends and stuff, and he has mohawks and shit. Like you can clearly tell the punk influence in his life, and so probably to become a big enough artist that you have the means and the ability to do what you actually always have listened to,
Right.
not necessarily selling out. It's
No.
literally you just living your truth. And that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, like, one way that I've kind of heard to carve your own, like to do it, is to just do it from your truth, right? So, like, let's just have one of our normal conversations, Bob,
Sure.
like we would if we were on the phone, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because they never get to see that. It's kind of more me talking to them and then you talking to them, and then, but I
Right.
mean, kind of, bro, I feel like it's, for instance, when we were talking about love and writing about love, and then you realize like how I said, like, I don't really experience romantic love, but that I have like a love for everything and everybody, and how we can swing that into a song. Like, we all have internal truths, right? And
Right.
I am against selling out, but I feel like there is always a way not to sell out, right?
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
if you want to write about love and you don't want to sell out, I should not write a song about like, loving my girlfriend, but I couldn't even use words that allude to that.
Right.
Right.
Like you can you could have an intentional message but still be true to your actual self, like your own ideals. You don't have to compromise your ideals or your actual position or views on life by doing so. You can say to your point, writing about love or whatever, like I've written, after we talked about that, I look back at my catalog of millions of songs from over billions of years, but And I've written love songs, and some of them are pretty good. So, and I was like, oh, I might want to kind of resurrect one or two of those, but they're not, they're not the sort of love song that maybe a pop singer would sing, where it's like, oh baby, I love you. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff would be a lie. I'm not that person. I don't think that way, and I don't write that way. And it would be false for me to make a song like that. It would be selling out or whatever. So, and they're not like that. My love songs most people wouldn't probably realize they were love songs because they're my weird poetry and, random, abstractiness over some pretty music. You know what I mean? And to me, they're a love song because I wrote it inspired by some person or event or, that means
now
something.
here's a weird theory of maybe what selling out could be, right? So, even though we all know I'm not a Christian here, like I do quote the Bible a lot, right? And like the Bible does say, like, God knows the intention of your heart, right? And I always go back to that in my life. Like it matters what your intention is, not what actually is the outcome. Kind of like when I locked that poor nice lady outside of the gate of the apartment complex where you gave the dog back, right? So if the intention behind whatever art form you're selling out to or whatever is like, I'm doing this to make as much money as possible, yeah, sure, you're fucking selling out.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But if the intention of your heart is like, I want to do this so I can reach more people, or like because I want to make a love song, I'm going to make it like this, or because I want to reach this demographic and have them hear my other music because I think they might like it. I don't think that's selling out.
Right. No, I agree with you. I was just thinking while you're talking, I was thinking about, say, somebody like Britney Spears, right? Who, and I am, people may or may not surprise people, but I'm definitely a pro Britney person. I respect Britney, and I respect crazy people too. So yeah, she's nuts, but I'm okay with that. And I think
we are both crazy people,
right? Exactly. But like Britney's a great example of this to me, right? Because I don't think Britney Spears honestly would even be capable of selling out, because she is literally born and bred of pop culture and pop music and the pop world. I mean, she was a Mouseketeer. You know what I mean? They were all like Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake. I know those three. There were others too, but those three were all Mouseketeers. Drake was also on that show, the Canadian.
Wasn't he a Mouseketeer?
He was on a Canadian teen drama. Something. DeRossi. How is there something like that?
Degrassi, that's what.
Degrassi, yeah, that's where Drake came from. Yeah. So anyway, so like folks like that are created by that world. I mean, they were not created, but I mean by the time Britney was 10 years old, right? She was in front of the camera. She was singing songs. She was dancing. How could she sell out? That's all she knows. Like she couldn't do anything else.
You being you, because that's what at a young age you were kind of bred into, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And it's funny because I used the example of like the Christian thing, and then I'm going back to the TV show that I'm about to finish that I love so much. There's an episode in the later seasons of Lucifer where they meet this lady who they think is the killer or whatever, and she's a like a pop singer or whatever, but she's found her faith, and like she had sold out because like she was just doing it without believing it, just to make record sales. If you're doing that, you're selling out. There's a better way to do it.
Right, exactly.
Like Nick, who was on like one of our very first interviews on the show, Nick actually told me this one time when I was talking about branding and stuff, and he was talking about how like if you don't live the life you're kind of writing about or whatever, it's harder to keep up the ruse. But if it's not a ruse, if it's not like that, meaning you can write lots of different ways and write about a certain thing and not sell out, right? Because you're not like, it would be like me trying to be a gangbanger, like in my music. I'm just not. That's just not me.
But if you ever wanted to write a song about being like being on the road with a heavy metal band, you could do that. Even though even though you're not doing that now, it's authentic. You were that, you did that for years.
Right.
That's a real life thing for you. So
Right.
yeah, I agree, man. And who's to say, I don't know. We're not in anybody else's head, I mean, I was more judgmental when I was younger, especially about these things, but
and I will be completely blatantly honest with all of you now. That's why I used MGK as an example, because when he first did the pop punk thing,
you
and
didn't
Bob
like it.
heard me numerous times talk shit. Okay, I apologize now.
I knew that because you talked shit to me about it.
I really have kind of thought about it, and I'm like, how dare I? I don't know what kind of music he likes, what makes him happy, what he listens to when he's not happy to make him happy, like what gets him pumped up. So who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
And I use that as an example because I wish I'd never thought that way, just because I liked, see, there's the point. I liked his old music so much that like when it wasn't that anymore, I was pissed off. Yep. So automatically human brain just goes to sell out, but it's not like that. It's
right.
Especially in his case, probably.
Right. But it was a funny thing. It's like, while we're talking about it, I'm thinking about there's so many layers to like that relationship of artist and fan. Right. And so like, to some degree, it's like the fan has no right to because they just don't have any right to like go and like claim somebody else as their, as that this is my, you should do what makes me happy, right? And if you don't, then it makes me mad and you're false. You know what I mean? You're a liar and you're a sellout. And that's not, I mean, obviously not true, right? But then the flip side, so it's wrong to be like that. But at the same time, that relationship of fan to artist is deeply important. Like we were just talking at the beginning of the thing, we were talking about like how important that connection is and how it shaped our lives, both of us,
Well, I mean, but at the same time, also, you've got to understand it's a fine line between I'm an artist and I'm a brand, right? So for instance, if Walmart started selling only animals, we would get pretty pissed off, right? If Walmart was like, now I'm a pet.
I'm a vegan, so that would really bother me. Yeah.
Not being like a pet store, like a live pet store, like you buy.
I still wouldn't like it, but yeah, okay. I know what you mean.
My point being, I'm sorry, bad example.
So Walmart was a weird one because they sell everything, but I know
Walmart was a car dealership all of a sudden, and all of them were a car dealership.
Yeah, everybody would get pissed off.
Like the artist is 100% of the stores of Walmart, right?
Right.
So if Walmart itself changed into selling vehicles tomorrow, you'd be kind of upset because you expect a product. And that's where, as artists, you have to look at it and go, I am selling my soul to music. I am a product now.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I don't want to put an artist and Walmart in the same category. You know what I mean? I just don't like.
I'm sorry, but I was just using the strongest branding, like
right.
Anyone would know.
We don't have to say you're sorry. We're just discussing it. But
I'm more sorry that you're wrong. That's what I meant. I'm just kidding. No, okay, whatever. Name a good brand that you like. I don't know what brands you like.
No, and I wasn't just talking about Walmart. What I'm getting at, what I meant when I was saying that is that I understand your point, and I agree with it up to a point, right? But there, like for instance, like the consumer, right, has a relationship with Walmart, and the fan has a relationship with the artist. And yes, in that relationship, the fan is also the consumer, and the artist is also the retailer, the producer, whatever you want to call it, the capitalist entity over there, right? But in the case of Walmart and the consumer, that is the full extent of that relationship. There's nothing else to it. Walmart provides no other service, no emotional, it doesn't serve any emotional need. You know what I mean? There isn't more to it.
I like Walmart a lot.
Yeah, I hate Walmart. So there you go. There are emotions for about Walmart for both of us.
Right.
But but I mean, that is like I said, the financial agreement between consumer and retailer is the sum total of that agreement. Whereas the artist and fan, that's the financial part of it, especially on the fan side, right? The financial part of it is secondary, tertiary. It's way in the back. It's a necessary evil, right? If you want to go see your favorite band, you gotta say it's Pearl Jam or somebody, and the tickets cost $150 for the shit seats, right? You make that sacrifice and you don't get mad at the band. You know what I mean? You're doing it because and it isn't, and that $150 doesn't define your relationship. It doesn't define your evening at the end of the show. You don't talk about the tickets, you talk about the show. So I guess that's my point,
I guess I see it a little differently. I see like buying tickets to see your favorite band as you supporting the fact that they will still continue to make music and perform and stuff. Like you are financially
that's good.
The fact that they get to do that for you.
Mm-hmm. That is where they make the most money too, is live. You make a really good point.
Merchandise and live, yes.
Yeah, exactly. The artists, the record labels, the major labels take all the money, and the indie labels don't make any money. Right. So, as we should know, right?
Exactly. But then it also, we could think about it from the flip side, right? So, for instance, when you change and you quote unquote sell out, do the people who no longer liked you start liking you, or do they still remember what you did before and they're like, fuck that, I don't like that? I can't really think of music I don't like other than country, which I don't care what they do. I really love it.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I don't know, say you don't like Britney Spears at all. If she starts doing like fucking, heavy trap music.
I would probably think it's funny. I'm not even a huge fan of her music. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of Britney as a person.
This was no longer a personal conversation. I'm more saying like to people like.
Oh, I see. Well, you told us before we were having a personal conversation.
No, I kind of, okay.
Now we transitioned?
That was the transition.
Okay, good.
Like I have a great example. I like Miley Cyrus's music now.
Yeah.
But
there you go.
I like country music.
Right. So she sold out in the opposite direction, right?
She sold out
by getting cool.
And I do feel like she really that's funny because I saw MGK differently and then I saw her differently. So I was like, fuck you for selling out. But then she did the exact same thing, but I liked the music she went to. So then I was like, I can't hate you for what you used to do. So it's
that's a good point.
That's a fucking double-edged sword.
It's a really great example. You kind of stumbled into it, but it's perfect. I mean, you're right, 100%. I mean, I couldn't care less about the country music or obviously the Hannah Montana or whatever that was, but
Hannah Montana.
But what she's done as Miley Cyrus and as a woman in her 20s and 30s or whatever she is, it's fantastic. She's an amazing singer. I knew she was cool when she started hanging out with the Flaming Lips. The Flaming Lips are one of my favorite bands of all time. They're just like, they're.
I knew she was cool when she did a song with Juicy J. I think that's who it was. Like that
there you go.
Song 32 or something. Maybe it wasn't Juicy J.
Right.
Whatever. But you're making a point of like it's once they're kind of brought into the culture, but that doesn't even work because Travis Barker is my biggest influence of being a human in anything. And MGK does all of this shit with Travis Barker. Now, partly full vulnerability on hand here. Maybe I felt a little jealous or maybe not jealous, but I want to know him. Fuck you.
Did you feel as though you should have been the drummer for MGK's new
not
stuff?
MGK, Travis Barker. I was I'll sell out. Let me. No, I don't think that's the case. But
that's funny.
There's so many things, and also then again, when I was going through really rough time in my life, getting off of all the medicine from all the surgeries and stuff like that, was when he kind of did his transition. So I feel like maybe I didn't listen to it before I came to this come to Jesus moment of that realization because it reminded me of when I was struggling, because I started hearing his new sound when I was struggling. And so then him progressing that way. See, there's always maybe something behind the scenes. And obviously, if some band changes into stuff you don't necessarily love that much, that's fine as well. You know, like it's
Except
okay
Pink
not to
Floyd,
listen.
by the way. The one exception here is Pink Floyd. And the reason is because Pink Floyd ended in 1984. They had an album called The Final Cut. That was literally their last album, right? And then Roger Waters, who was really the brains behind the band, right? Wrote all their music and everything. I mean, David Gilmour was very much the voice. He sang a lot of their famous songs, and he was a guitar player, so and a phenomenal guitar player. I love David Gilmour, but Roger Waters was the brains. And then after The Final Cut, Roger Waters went on to a solo career, which continues to this day. I mean, Final Cut came out in 1984. So, but then a few years after The Final Cut, David Gilmour and the other members of Pink Floyd, without Roger Waters, made a new Pink Floyd album and called it Pink Floyd and put it out. And then that continued up until, I don't know, just a few years ago. They made a bunch of albums without Roger Waters. And so the two parties were at odds and fighting in court for years over the name. And they finally resolved it, I think. I mean, I think that just meant that Roger got money probably, but anyway, it was, that, and the music, the point is that the music itself, despite all of that, not despite all of that, in my opinion, because of all that, the post Roger Waters Pink Floyd music sucks. I just, it's boring. It's very boring, I think.
It might suck, but I was gonna say,
once Roger Waters was gone, once the brains of the operation had left the building, they made just kind of boring music that sounded vaguely like their old music, but wasn't good. You know what I mean?
But
So,
that's just being a cover, like a cover band of your old band.
right,
type
exactly.
Like
And I'm sure if anybody is watching this at all, if anybody that is a Pink Floyd fan, they're probably yelling at me right now, telling me that I'm totally wrong and David Gilmour is a god. And I
Well,
should say those
go
things.
ahead and yell as much as you want in the comments, guys. Let
Yeah.
us know how much
Yeah.
you hate us.
I love David Gilmour as a guitar player and as a singer, and he's got some cool solo stuff. But Pink Floyd requires Roger Waters. Some would argue that it requires Syd Barrett, except after Syd Barrett was gone, Roger Waters did the best Pink Floyd stuff there was. So, it's Roger Waters. Anyway, that's my take on that. I don't know why I even started talking about that. Because of the selling.
Right. Well, I was saying if you still like their music, you're not required to still like their music after they sell out,
Right. Well, I just realized, to everything I just said, right, is I'm basically being the problem. Like I was doing exactly what you were doing about Machine Gun Kelly, right? I'm saying the same things about Pink Floyd.
No, not that you authentically don't like their music.
I don't. Yeah, that's true. After the split, their music changed.
I just wanted his old music back. I never really gave it that much of a chance.
Oh,
because I wanted his old music back because I liked it so much.
Right.
Yet I still have all those albums that he.
You can go back and listen to them anytime you want.
I can listen to them anytime I want, but my brain said, "Fuck no," which is completely asinine. Be like, I won't enjoy what I enjoyed because no.
That's
why. It means nothing. Like he's never gonna know that I'm not enjoying it. Like, oh, that one person stopped listening to me. No, bro, come on.
All right. Well, hey, man, we have a couple things we want to do before we don't do anything else here. So one of them,
funny.
me get a haircut. That's one of the things. No, one of them is your crazy, awesome new song.
It's
ours. Yes, it is. I'm on there as well. So yes, it is both of us. But this is an example of Kilo's genius, really, and just me along for the ride. But I've been listening to the song, which we're calling now All Day and All Night, right?
Secretively, it's called Fuck All Day, Fuck All Night.
It's not that secret. That's what they say all through the song. But
put that in the title. Gonna surprise people.
Anyway, so we've been listening to the song for like a week or two now while we've been working on it. And
we've been working on it for a week now.
Right, a week, right. So and then but then just before, like we were talking an hour ago or 2 hours ago, we were like, yeah. And we were like, hey, we're going to do a stream. Let's do a stream, yada, yada. And Kayla was like, oh, I want to play my new song or our new song. And, and then I was like, oh, we should put some kind of video to it. And then, he took that as don't
tell him what.
No, I'm not going to tell what's in it. I'm just going to say he took that directive to go and basically make a freaking genius video, which is it's still a little raw. It's not done yet, but man,
Right,
it's good.
because I only took an hour on it, but it's a concept in the works.
The song, so the song's absolutely insane. The video is even more insane, and it's
And
so
I'm
much
insane.
fun. Oh, it's
Yeah.
so much fun.
And
So
Bob is selling himself short because even though you can't hear it all in there, like there's
Yeah.
guitar in there that he did, there's chords in there that he did, there's
Right.
stabby stabs that I deemed stabby stabs. Mhm.
a lot of how Kilo and I will determine when we work on things, we determine whose song it is, right? I mean, like, because lots of times we'll work at things and then at the end of it, we'll be like, whose is this? You know, is this yours or
Right.
mine? And it's usually very obvious because it sounds like more like one of us than the other.
Right.
And how that usually pans out is the stuff that sounds like Kilo usually is Kilo saying, give me here, you know, here's a beat, you know, give me 4 chords over this. And I do. And then he goes crazy with it, does some crazy shit with it. And then he goes, sends it back to me and says, now play some wild guitar on it. All right. Okay, cool. And then so he's working as a producer basically. And I'm just like I'm the studio musician, you know?
Yes, bro. I want to mention this on the live stream. As a matter of fact, I was going to mention it in person on a phone call, but like I was watching a documentary today about the Daft Punk, right? And they were talking about one of their newer albums, Bring Back the Music or something. I think that's what it's called. I don't know.
Right.
But they were talking, they called what you're just talking about human sampling, right? Where they took artists in and did exactly what we do. They said, like,
awesome.
You know, give me, you know, this instrument, this, and then we'll do whatever we want with it.
That's
so
awesome.
It's like you are, so it's like what we do because you're creating the samples for me, and then I'm using them out of our human sample machine. So you're a human sample machine.
I'm the human sample machine. I love it. Yeah. So that is how I work on Kilo's music, basically. And on my music, it's different, obviously, because it's songs that I write. So I'm giving him full completed tracks, and then Kilo mixes them. Usually add something like new to them.
Other new song.
Oh, my new weird one.
We both made very weird songs.
We did, yeah.
That are both.
Yeah, why not? We'll play them both. We've got a video for yours, and then we've got the visualizer for mine.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll do mine first because I don't want to follow the genius of your video. Yours is way better than mine. It's fucking awesome.
My stupidity genius.
It's awesome. All right.
Yeah, and my song, while you're looking for it, I think we had talked to you guys about it last week, which is when I just typed in 36 in the search bar on Ableton, and then I just used every 36 like effect I could find to start the song. So that's awesome. How this song has been started. And then, you know, we just did our normal thing with fucking the stabby stabs, guitar, and the Bob, you look like you're being beamed up by an alien.
I'm sorry, I forgot that I was still on camera.
So bright.
Yeah, because I don't see right now. I'm looking at my computer. So what I'm just pulling up my song. Hold on one second. It
suddenly got bright and went, ah! So I was like, what's happening?
Right. It's just me being weird. I just want to make sure I have the right one. Oh, you know what? I know what I'll do. Hold on. It's the one that's it's called Objectively 64. I think I gotta download it.
You're gonna say 69 on it. I don't know, man.
I got it. Don't worry.
Project 89, got it.
Okay, here we go.
Hopefully you all had a good week.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, this is not how we
No, I'm just telling our one listeners, hopefully they had a good week.
Well, yeah, sure.
Accomplish something this week that makes you feel good.
All right, all right. Yeah, you're out of the hot seat now. I got my song. You ready?
I still care. Okay, go.
Okay.
I fucking love this song. It's insane. It's insane.
All right, let me do this. I'm gonna open this up. All right, now I'm gonna share the screen. Okay, computer audio.
I love the retro Windows player visualizer. It's awesome. Reminds me of being a kid and like listening to the new album that I burned onto a CD while watching it.
Right. Oh, what do you see now? Do you see it now?
See it now.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me get things straight here. All right, you should see like a circle, like the beginning of the thing. Do you
The
see that?
same circle we saw before? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I didn't do something right though. Hold on one second. I know I'm being stupid, but this is important. All right. So portion of the screen, share. There we go. You ready?
Mhm.
Of course you're ready. You've been ready. This is called Object 64.
Don't know anyone. Don't know anyone. Don't know anyone. Don't know anyone.
I love that bass.
Don't know anyone. Don't know anyone. Don't know anyone. Don't know anyone.
And like if they don't respond, well then I'll just play for myself.
All right.
There it is.
There it is.
Dude,
There.
out of any song we've ever played with Visualizer, that song goes with it. Like it looks like it belongs with that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, that makes sense. I mean, it's retro and weird and psychedelic and goofy.
So good.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Thank you. I do too, and I don't know why. I don't know why anybody would, but I think that a lot of people will. I think it's a catchy, weird little song, and it's fun. The way it came about is pretty crazy. I'm always taking old stuff, not too old, but sometimes really old, 30-year-old stuff. Sometimes I'm taking 5-year-old stuff and kind of, unfinished business basically, and pulling it out of the bucket and see what I can do with it. And that's what this one was. This one, the original version of it was about 5 years ago. A lot of the new stuff that Kilo and I have done has stemmed from this collection of songs that I did 5 years ago that I never released. I did a whole bunch of stuff in 2017 and then basically threw it aside and started over and did some other stuff. So now we're kind of resurrecting that and writing new songs out of it. So Object 64 was that. It's called Object 64 for no reason at all. The song doesn't mean anything. The object was just a word. I think I wrote the song on my iPad, and I was using the Korg. I used a Korg gadget. It's like a multi-track and like sequencer, and it's got all kinds of plugins. It's really great, and I think I paid nothing, very little for it a long time ago. But it's Korg, and it's freaking genius. And you can like just pull up like and put in like Korg synths and stuff. They're good. I mean, they're on a lot of my songs, and so anyway, I wrote the original version of that song on that, and it was called Object because the application just kind of randomly made that up as a file name, and I just kept it.
Oh,
the
that's
Object. Yeah, and then 64 because when I saved it as that title Object, and then I put 64 at the end because that was the tempo. It was very slow, 64 beats per minute. So anyway, so long story short, I took it, turned it into that riff, the original riff from the Object 64, turned it into a MIDI file, doubled the speed, made it 120 beats per minute, or 126 really, and then started making a song out of it. And then
that doesn't sound like a long story, guys, but it was a long story, a long period of time of him telling me to take it and do something with it, and I would forget for months and months and months. So it was a very long period of time.
It was a couple months. Yeah. But anyway, we got it done, man. And it's all what happened was Kilo said, you should make it a house song, and which is crazy. Because if you're it's awesome. And then that happened. Yeah. It did not turn into a house song. It turned into something very different.
We have a comment on our YouTube from Mr. Need for Speed SXR saying, music is taking me into a time machine. And I would have to agree with that.
Nice. I like it. Right.
Definitely feels like a time machine that's going back into the past, and the time machine, instead of looking like a time machine would, which we don't have yet, it turns into what it would look like in an all retro movie, right? That is what it sounds like. He's right.
It sounds almost like an old hippie made that music. an old rock and roll hippie made that music.
I kind of feel like it sounds kind of like an old retro robot.
Well, there you go. I'll sign up for that too. Yeah, that's
like if you told a robot from a sci-fi movie that was like of this time now, like the sci-fi movie was placed in this time period, but the movie is made back then. If you were like, make music, it would do that.
Yeah. All right.
So, I don't know anyone.
Well, that's
I'm
awesome.
a robot, and I don't have friends.
So there you go. So that'll be my next single. Probably on FBP music group, as long as they'll take it. It is a little strange. I'm gonna check.
I think it's golden, dude.
I think it'll
let us know in the comments, guys, if you're watching this after the stream, and what you think of that song.
Yes, there you go. So the next one, now we're gonna move on to the main event, as it were. And it's Kilo's new song. Well, Kilo and I. It's Kilo and I'm a featured artist on it. And he and I have been working on this for about a week. We just discussed some of the process a little bit. Basically, I made noise, he chopped it up, turned it into something insane and wonderful. That's about right.
And then I had you give me noise. And I made your noise more noisy.
Yes.
Because I think I had the structure laid out with mainly like the sample in the background, they don't know.
You had the whole song. You did the whole song, but then you said like could you give me some chords and some guitar and some other noise? So I did.
And I did something real dumb and sent it to Bob as a joke, and then he was like, "Oh, that's cool," and I was like, "What?" And so now
now it's this.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and the video, well, you can play the video on me too. The idea to make a video, but the actual concept and the execution of this video is all Kilo, and it's freaking genius.
It will be better when it comes out. Please don't.
It's already genius. All right,
Go
so
ahead.
I'm going to start it.
I can't wait to see it again.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. This is called All Day, All Night. All right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Fuck all day, fuck all day. Fuck all night, fuck all night. Fuck all day. Fuck all night.
take all your clothes off and fold yourself 12 times.
You got it. You want to see my boner? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, jeez. My sister died in the spaghetti.
There you go.
I couldn't. I don't think I could love that anymore. I don't. I don't think that could be better. I mean, I know you're gonna do more to it, but man, that's freaking awesome. I just laughed the entire time. I mean, I just laughed the whole freaking time. It's just so good.
I'm glad you like it, sir.
Oh,
I'm
it's so
glad.
good.
I love making that music.
Did it sound okay over the stream?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, good, good.
Better at that. You are definitely getting better at that.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, I think the app is getting better at it. Every once in a while it updates, and then I get new options about how I can share things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So before we go, we need to do the question game, and we need to tell you guys, whoever ever watches our show, thank you for watching. And if you are in the future from now and you enjoyed that song, thank you for listening to our songs before you saw this and then found it because you like our music. So,
Right.
yes. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe to that. We're revamping kind of our social presence right now. So go ahead and find us on most social media.
Yes, we are in most places, if not all at this point. I think we are house_of_static.
We're on Trump's app, bro. Come on. What did I tell you about that?
What's that?
Nothing.
What'd you
Let's
say?
go.
What
I
did
said
you say?
we're on Trump's social media app.
Trump's no, we are definitely not on Trump's anything.
I know. That was the
Trump's-
joke.
yeah,
You
we're
took
on
the
the-
joke
we're on
away
the-
from me.
I am
Don't
on
worry.
yeah.
Okay.
Throw Trump in prison train.
And
I'm on
if you love Trump, please do not subscribe.
that one. Anyway,
Hate that button. That button does not belong to you.
yeah. Anybody else though? Subscribe, please. Right?
Yeah.
Where is it? Down here?
Subscribe and show
Or is
us
it down here? It might be over here.
wherever it is.
If it's not there,
Go
it's
there
over there.
and go there and say,
Yeah.
I don't like Trump. So that's how you say
There you
that
go.
to subscribe.
Right
And that'll
on.
show us.
Yeah,
And
we
then-
are definitely we're that. There you go. So anyway, let's do the question thing. I gotta give my kid a call before it gets too late. So,
Yes, for sure.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Who goes first?
you go first.
Okay. What is one impact you hope you can make with your music?
Oh, well, that's nice.
I know I was thinking of that question earlier, like, why the fuck has no one ever asked that yet?
This will sound corny, but it's true. I mean, I probably, as far as that goes, I think that, the fact that I've ever had any impact on anybody with my music is more than I could have ever dreamed. And I know I have, and that's been great. My band toured around all through the 90s, and we made a lot of people happy in a lot of different places, and that really meant a lot to me. So I think that's all. Just make people happy, make some tunes, maybe give somebody something that they can connect to,
Nice. Yeah. Perfect answer, sir. My answer to my own question would be to show people that, I mean, I think I've talked about this on the show, but like to give people, fun, to show people that like, I want to be the music that you listen to when you're having fun because it's fun, but also the music that you listen to when you're not having fun. And you
Yeah.
want to change that thought process in your head to like, why am I not having a good time again?
That's awesome. And we know that you've been successful at that already because we had one of our guests on here, Karina T, the doctor of psychology, said that she puts your music on to pump herself up.
That's right.
How's that? How's
I've
that?
been successful.
Right
I
on, man. With a very smart, talented person.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
wonderful. I was intimidated to interview her.
She's,
Not because she was a girl,
No,
not because
she's
she was a
something.
hot girl, but because she's like
Yeah.
very intelligent, like
Yeah.
she's very kind. When you talk to someone and it seems so kind, you're like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
what if I
No,
say
yeah, Karina is still, she is like, she was one
So
of the most
wonderful.
genuine people I've ever spoken with. Beautiful on the inside and out. I really enjoyed her conversation. So I agree with you 100%.
Okay, your turn
right.
for a question.
Yes, is that my turn to ask? It's my turn to ask a question. And this
Did
is
you
a
forget?
music.
Yes.
This is a music related question.
Yes.
If there, what instrument? I don't want to say that.
Yeah, because I only have one hand, so you had to watch where you went with that question.
No, that wasn't really it. It was just I
Oh.
think I've asked that question before. That's why I stopped myself. But you're right. I mean, that's not fair. It's not it's not a fair thing to ask. But that wasn't the reason. I
Bro,
said it.
drums should not be a crippled person's wet dream. So technically that doesn't count with me.
That's true. You play drums, so you introduced that
I
to the
know, I
court.
was
You know?
just trying to make you feel
Yeah,
awkward.
now you're just making me feel bad. All right. Anyway, let's see a question. Okay, and this is a nice one. All right, so I don't know how I would answer this in reverse though.
Are you afraid of answering your own question?
I'll just do it this way. So like this is what I'm asking is based on your sunset quest here that you've been on. So lately the last what's that?
Yes.
That's cool, right? Sunset Quest. So
Yeah.
the last few weeks, Kilo's been purposefully going and witnessing the sunset. And he lives in Los Angeles in Burbank, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So probably the most beautiful sunset you're going to see, or one of them anyway. And so Kilo's been making a point of going and witnessing that daily. And I think that's awesome. Sends me videos a lot of the time of them, and they're great, and it's really cool. And so anyway, that's where that fact is what's leading into my question, which is going to be which is of your recent sunsets, right? What was your favorite? What was the one that?
Okay, so that's not the music related question then, but I'm definitely going to.
Oh
answer.
yeah, it's not a music related.
Doesn't matter.
This is
Doesn't
the
matter.
random question. Random question.
Question time. Okay. I will tell the answer by telling a story
That's-
previous to it, which
Right.
will make the answer make sense. I am a connoisseur of the good colognes, right? I like to have really nice colognes, and I love different smells, and they make me happy, and so I wear them and stuff. And so I haven't gotten a new cologne for a while, and the other day, what was I doing? Oh, I think I was dropping my dog off to the vet or something. I was doing something. I was trying to get my iPhone fixed, right? So I was at the mall in, I think, Sherman Oaks or somewhere. And I saw like an old clothing store I used to shop at, which will surprise everyone, which is Hollister's, which if you don't know what Hollister's was when I was a kid, it's a preppy store. It's not anymore, which I was shocked because I walked by and I was excited to see a Hollister's. And I was excited to see like football, like t-shirts and stuff in there that were like, wait, it looks like clothes I wear,
Right.
even though Hollister's, like my nice button-up shirts are from there and like stuff like that. So I went in there and I was like, I'm gonna get a cologne here because if you were in Tulsa anywhere around the mall in the 2000s, all of the area smelled like Hollister cologne because they doused their clothes. They dunked them probably in a bucket of their cologne. So they do know how to make cologne. So I go in there and I'm like looking at the cologne and I'm like, testing them out. And then one was actually called SoCal Sunset. And I was
Nice.
like,
Right. on.
Holy shit.
That's
This is
good.
key, because
That's
like,
perfect.
because of where the whole sunset thing comes from, the whole living in California and living in LA and not being able to enjoy the sunset. If
Right,
you want
right.
to know about that, go back into previous episodes and you'll hear that story a few times. So I got that one, and then as I'm driving home, it's like almost sunset, and like I was like gonna stop at the grocery store, but then I was like no, and so I like came home real fast, and I got to watch the sunset like on my parking garage with my parent. My parents came out, or well, my dad was with me, and then my mom came out. We all watched that sunset as I'm wearing
And you sent me that video too. That was beautiful.
It was amazing.
Really
And
amazing.
so as I'm wearing a cologne, which I like different smells because I guess it said that fragrances are the thing that you can set to memory the easiest. So it becomes like a nostalgic thing easy.
Right.
Right. So now whenever I smell that smell, I will remember that sunset. So it's always going to be my favorite sunset, even
That's
if I
awesome.
see amazing sunsets.
That's
So,
awesome. That's a great answer.
okay. So I guess you could answer your own question more with like a
No,
what.
I have an answer for I have an
Oh.
answer for my question. So, because obviously I've not been on the little sunset with the sunset quest that Kilo's been on, but my girlfriend Sarah and I are very my fiance, girlfriend, whatever. We've been together for a long time, so we call us whatever we are. But
Say it right, bro. You don't want to get in trouble.
oh, I wouldn't get in trouble. No, she's cool.
Okay.
She's really cool. Anyway, so the point of it is that Sarah and I we walk outside at night a lot. We're night owls, and we are dog people. We always have dogs. So we walk dogs at like 1 o'clock in the morning. We eat dinner at midnight and go walk dogs at 1 o'clock. We'll do this tonight. We'll eat dinner at midnight and walk dogs at 1 o'clock in the morning. We do it all the time. So anyway, and there's a street, like I live out in the country a little bit, like a little outside of town. And so the sky is just huge and beautiful. So my answer to the best sunset isn't a sunset, but it's just a night sky. And
Right.
yeah, it was, I think, 2 nights ago. We just saw this beautiful night sky, and there's a great app for the iPhone called Night Sky, and you can download it. And if you point it, you run it and you point it at the sky, it tells you what you're looking at. It's amazing.
Oh, that's dope.
It's really cool. So I had the Night Sky app, and I was looking, and there was like Jupiter there and Mars over there, and the moon was bright, and it was a beautiful sky. So anyway, there's my answer.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I threw things off because you asked a music question.
All
I
right,
asked a
now I'm
random
going to ask
question.
a random question.
Now you ask a random question, I'll ask a music question.
I think we should always do it this way.
I like it. Yeah, that's cool. Right on.
Great job with a happy accident.
Here you go.
Okay, let's see. I had two good questions, but I don't know how to word one of them. Okay, how am I going to ask this question? So I may know what I'm talking about, or I may not know what I'm talking about. I was once again, I go back to the TV show I've been watching, and I learned a new term this week and kind of looked it up and kind of learned about it, which is the word self-actualization.
Self-actualization.
So I never heard of that,
Right.
I assume what the YouTube said is correct, which is like matching your internal view of yourself
Right.
to like the external view people have of you. So in like however way you want to kind of
Or
go
sort of the other way around, right? Like making your external persona match who you are
is
inside.
that what it was?
I think, well, you don't want it.
I don't know.
Self-actualization is not making yourself become what people see.
No,
you
it's
as.
those
It's the other
things
way around.
finally matching is what I said.
Yeah, right, exactly.
When
But I
those
think
things match,
and I think they match by your external self becoming more authentic and becoming in touch with the reality of who you are. You manifest your full potential kind of thing,
right.
Right.
So without going into too much detail on my own end of how to ask the question, who are you, Bob?
That's a great question. I think that I hope that that process of self-actualization is exactly what I'm doing. And I And I think that, well, I know that it's, but I'm attempting, right? And so the point is that, you and I talk all the time, and I always say like, I always say that my whole life philosophy is just, you got to try, you
Right.
got to try, you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be the best. You're not going to be right all the time. You're not going to be nice all the time. You're not going to be good all the time, but you got to try to be those things,
Right.
try to be kind, and sometimes you'll fuck up and be mean, but try.
Right.
And a lot, and that is me talking to myself. That is my philosophy to myself. You need to be, not to just default, to fall back to your default, which for, lots of people is, it's easy to default to being selfish, for instance, because that's that is our innate drive, is to like survive and to eat and to have sex and to, do the things that make us happy. That self-gratification is like the base instinct of everyone, right? So my whole philosophy is to be better than that, be better than your programming. I say, be better than that base instinct. So if I'm anything, right, it's a person trying to, I'm a person who tries. I try. That's who I am.
But is that how you see yourself? Like, I was more getting at like, the one end of it where it's like,
Yes.
how
Oh no, I know what you're asking. I think that
okay.
I
Okay.
know. I understand. Yes, I think that I'm, in that sense, I think I'm authentic. I think that my external being, I mean, if you start talking about how people perceive me, I don't know that, you know what I mean? I don't really know how people perceive me, but do I think that I present an accurate representation of myself? Yes, I think I do.
Right. And I don't think you can control exactly how people take how you are,
Right.
but like, yeah, yes.
Some people think I'm an asshole. Some people think I'm a saint, and neither one of them is right.
Right.
And they're both right.
Bob Smith, quote of the day.
There you go.
I'm an asshole. Some people think I'm a saint, but I'm neither. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Neither one of them's right.
Good.
So yeah, there you go. That's my answer.
Okay.
What's your answer, Kilo?
Fuck. Let's see. Who am I on the inside is what I asked, right? Like,
Yeah. Who are you? Yeah. Self-actualization is matching your external self to your external self, meeting, who you are internally, who you really are. So who are you?
it's funny because we talked about writing songs about love, and when I think of myself,
Mhm.
this is kind of a joke, but I do love myself. But what I was gonna say was, the first thing I think of is that I'm a very genuinely loving person, and I'm not saying that to sound like a nice person.
No, I think it's accurate. You are.
I
agree.
love even the people who I should not, which who I'm talking about, but I'm not, we talked about that before the show. But like, I truly am an individual who I'm a kind of accepting, loving thingy on the inside, where I kind of I don't know, I guess that's who I am to myself, which that's not a who, but like,
No, I think that is. I think
I
that's
don't know how to
completely
explain that.
I think that's no. I don't. I think you were pretty clear. I think it was a very legitimate answer. Really.
Yeah.
I
Like-
mean, you're a loving person, and that's how you see yourself, and that is your reality. And I think
Yeah,
I think it's true.
if you think about our music, right? Like that song you just heard seems crazy as fuck, and it is. But that is minute hairline detailed, like movements of notes, or like even like teeny section movements, like
Yeah.
so minutely. And that's only because I love music, right?
Yeah.
So without the love, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, I mean, and the love comes through because through that insanity. I mean, you just made me smile solid 4 minutes of just solid smiling, just laughing and smiling the whole time. So how is that not success? I mean, that's wonderful,
And I mean, if I was to go a little more beyond that, I'm kind of like I guess like a survivor, I guess. I've survived since I was born, clearly,
Mhm.
because I came out early and I came out wrong and everything like that. And I don't mean wrong. I mean, I came out like
No,
side.
you're definitely not wrong. Oh, I see. In this wrong.
Out like wrong out of the vagina hole. So it
Right.
was like, didn't come out right. But like, I think that I am just one of those. I'm a fucking cockroach. I'm a cockroach. I'm one of those people that are just gonna survive whatever the fuck it is. And that's just that. There's
Right
no
on, man.
making it in my brain.
Right
And
on.
that's how I see myself because I've proven it to myself over and over again. And like I've said to people, like about getting off of drugs, for instance, like if you do it, you'll love yourself that much more because of it. So, I mean, that's
Yeah.
why I feel like I'm a survivor because I've watched myself survive shit that I tell people about, and they're like, "You did what? What dumbass thing did you do now?" So, yes, I'm a survivor, a loving survivor. There you go.
There you go, man. Right on. All right. Well,
Last
I know I got to do a quick music question. I want to do it quick though, because it's getting late and I got to call
or
my
we
kid.
can skip it, or
Well,
just
no, what's
ask a one-word question.
what's the last song you heard, other than the two that we just played?
Oh, that's not okay. What? How am I going to remember that, Bob?
Actually, you just the last one you remember hearing. Last song you remember hearing before the show.
That song I remember hearing before the show. I have no fucking idea. That's all. I can't answer that. And I want to redo, ask a different one because I listen to so many songs a night.
Just pick one. Just pick one.
Last song I remember hearing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the last one you heard. Just the last one you remember hearing. This was supposed to be a quick question.
That's I'm gonna just have to say our song because that's the
Okay, there you go. That's a great answer. All day and all night.
all day and all night. That's all.
All right, my answer is Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs. That's what I was listening to just before you and I got on the phone.
Nice. That
Yeah,
is
I listen to
great.
a lot of old kind of funk and jazzy kind of
Oh,
stuff.
I know
love
my
that
answer
stuff. That's
now.
like, well, Booker T and the MGs is like Motown soul. You know what I mean? Instrumental Motown soul. You'd love it. It's cool stuff, man. You should dig it.
Now that you
Anyway.
said that, I know my answer. I was listening to that documentary about the Daft Punk. So it was just a bunch of Daft Punk.
Bunch of
songs.
Daft Punk. That's a great answer too.
That's
All
my
right,
answer.
man.
There we go.
I'm
Have a-
signing off. I want to get my kid
and-
before it's bedtime.
Yes, go talk to you. Bye, everybody.
All right, later.